reason why. Okay. I think I might have accidentally pasted something. Okay, replace all. Lovely. Okay, now aim will get deleted.
Yay, it's no longer an aim game.
What exactly are you trying to do with these changes?
I want to delete everything and just start over.
No PP, guys.
No PP. Basically, my goal is to make this as bare bones as possible, as if we're Delta 2.0, right? And then
and then just rebuild it all from scratch whenever we get it merged.
Yes, exactly, and make it actually good. I don't know. I'm just
One of
having
the
fun
ideas
right now,
that I've been toying around, like I've toyed around with a few PP system designs, but personally, what I think would be amazing if there was some way you could actually like, rather than like, I remember there was a previous change where you check where the way strain was evaluated was by looking at like defined groups of consistent BPM. So you'd have like a group of 5, or a group of quintuplets and a group of triplets, or a group of quadruplets, and then based on the amount of groups, right? You the compute a strain value.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been. I don't know. I mean, sorry. I kind of like tunnel visioned a little bit. I was thinking for aim at least, kind of grouping by movement pairs and doing some sort of like matrix system similar to what Delta did is probably the best step forward. But instead of using matrices, I think it'd probably be more interesting to use something more akin to like a generalized linear model or something.
What I was considering is you could probably look at some of this analytically. I mean, whenever you got irregularities in BPM, you can plot, for example, like the consistency between tap timings, and then you take the derivative of that, and that'll tell you when you've got fluctuating timings that increase strain. So you could look at it based off of the derivative of the timing differences, right?
You mean for just like delta time?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I haven't actually worked this system out in my head fully, but for example, instead of like you have like a group of quintuplets and a group of triplets, you take the derivative of the timing spacing, and you'll see changes, right?
Oh, you just mean the delta between them. I mean, the thing about the delta between them though is because of the fact that you have like MS differences between notes, you can't just necessarily group objects by that unless you have some sort of tolerance. But I mean, even if you did have a tolerance, assuming that BPM's the same, you could just have a tolerance of like 50 MS or something, or maybe not even 50, like 25 or 10.
Well, you can just make strain inversely, or the actual added strain value inversely proportional to the delta time between them, right? So if you've got varying BPMs but they're all spaced apart, that won't contribute as much to the strain. But if you've got varying BPMs and the delta points are very close to each other, that would have a larger contribution.
So it does not, I mean, that only helps you identify things like triplets and quads and things like that, but you still have structuring that is independent to, your delta time. I mean, how large would you want to go with that too? It's like you could the sky's the limit as far as how big of a structure you identify. But
well, the idea isn't to try and find like quantify structures. The idea is to just let your analytic expressions basically consume these structures and just give you a value, rather than explicitly saying this is a group of triplets, this has a certain strain value. You just say here's a function that describes strain, or that describes timings as a or the difference in timings as a function of time across the map, and then you take that function, consume that function somehow. Again, I'm kind of spitballing words here into your actual strain value, right? I'm phrasing this absolutely horribly. It's been a while since I've done this kind of math. But
sorry, my mental imaging is struggling, but I see what you're saying a little bit. Yeah. Alright, so I need to implement the same skills over here. Alright, so that's done. Flashlight. Alright, I guess I don't need the serialized stuff then. Can I just... I'm just gonna comment this out in case I do need this for some weird reason. Okay, spinner count, drain rate. Wait, Why is this here? Am I gonna start making PP off of HP drain?
Yeah, isn't that blinds?
Oh, what the? Okay.
Hey, look, man, that drain really adds a lot of strain on the mind, right?
Yeah, nerves
This
PP.
is so stupid, but whatever. Okay.
Isn't that literally just length bonus?
Length
Yes.
bonus and nerves PP. Combo scaling is.
And both of them kind of are.
I think I have everything done except for speed needs to be renamed.
A length bonus if your map is consistently straining throughout the map, a length bonus make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. But unfortunately, 95% of maps aren't consistently strained.
Fair. Maybe a length time. You can evaluate you do like a length time to strain. So you integrate the strain as a function of time, or you integrate the strain with respect to time to get the actual length bonus that's required, right?
Or you just take all the notes and then you turn them into a matrix of probabilities. I don't even know what a matrix is. I hope that's the right word.
I have no idea what you're saying with that.
You mean a vector?
Yeah. I actually mean
I guess a matrix is kind of a vector, like
Yeah.
a one-dimensional.
Well, no, a matrix and a vector are a matrix is a 2D vector. They're not really the same thing. I mean,
You
they're
can
both
make a matrix that's 1 by n though, so then technically it's a vector.
Sure,
a matrix
I
is
guess.
just a more generalized version. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I need to fix this, but I'll deal with this later. I just want to make sure this even compiles. So let's. Here's the part where it just breaks down, and I spend the next 2 hours debugging.
Don't you have C# integration in the editor? There's probably a plugin you can install that'll use the C# language server to tell if you have errors in the code.
I don't necessarily mean errors in the code so much as runtime or compile errors.
Okay. Compile errors should be caught by the language DLSP, but you're right, runtime errors probably won't be.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of stupid.
Dude,
I don't want to
was a
use
chunky,
technology. I just want to make
comment
my life
stuff.
difficult. Right, okay, move to trash. Alright, namespace skill could not be found.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to
Alright,
ask, what operating system is this?
I am using Arch.
Ooh, Arch. Can't believe you haven't told me till now.
Literally never heard of that operating system in my life.
Okay. Right. How is skill not being found? That's because I'm not importing it. That would be the reason. Okay. Right. More errors. Lovely. The typer namespace skill could not be found. Okay, I don't necessarily understand then why that wouldn't be found, because it should be right off of that namespace. What file is that? AIM? I might not have saved it. That would be why. Okay. AIM. I need to change these from abstracts.
Hey, that cut down the errors by like half.
Yeah.
Yep. Alright. No argument corresponding to the former parameter mods. Yeah, because skill inherits that. So. Do I need? I guess I do. And for tap, I would need to also get the it's the hit window. Great.
That variable doesn't have a type. And you
Which-
protected
oh, yeah,
aim.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, type expected. Okay. Method. Oh. Wait. Method. Tap 21. Oh. There you go. That's the problem.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that, then I immediately forgot. There we go, more errors.
More errors.
Another factor does not exist in current context.
At least there are errors.
Yay, no more sliders. This is now circle game.
Oh, so we're what? Back to 2018?
Yeah, this is what the big black actually looks like to the PP system.
That must be in a different file. 77. What?
I want to say it.
Why would that not be? Hmm. What file is this? OSU game rule sets. How did I just modify that? Okay. Alright, that's fine. Flashlight difficulty. Okay.
I have a quick question. Is this generally how you fix compilation errors?
Yes, I'm mega retard.
You want some unsolicited advice?
Nope.
Okay.
No. No. I like it to be as painful as possible. Alright.
You endure the pain, it's more satisfying once you get it done.
Or it just stings more after, when it doesn't work.
Those red arrow lines give you power.
It speaks to my soul.
Mentally and spiritually.
New aim is inaccessible due to its. Is it just. Probably doesn't need to be protected. I'm pretty sure it's public.
What's ROG.osu? ROG elimination?
Yep.
Just thinking that.
Or probably just some random test file.
It's
Yeah.
just a random test file. This is my default that I always go to.
Ooh. Hey, only one. And then you're gonna fix that one, it's gonna spit out 10 more.
Okay, OS difficulty calculator approach rate is never used. Yeah, well, that's because I can't use it yet.
Nice, now it won't compile. Or well. Hey, no.
Alright, here we go. Round 2, boys. Yeah, buddy. Alright, so this is performance. Epic. Okay, so. Why am I erroring here?
You're in the PP boss rush, that's why.
Yeah, Okay, so this, I'm assuming, is probably due to the fact that OSU tools. Actually, I don't know why that wouldn't be working.
Modules, how the hell did you even spot that?
No, I just saw it.
Okay, I guess I should probably read what it's saying. Okay. Create performance calculator takes 2 arguments. Takes 0 arguments.
Willie left to go stream. What a nerd. He should stream more stream.
That would be an exciting stream. I'm sure he'd get a lot of viewers on this quality content of me trying to debug this nonsense.
He can just like overreact, like BTMC reacting to anything, and it would probably be entertaining. Like, oh my goodness, 15 errors? Willie's not the kind of person to do that though. He's too genuine.
That's a shame.
Yeah, he needs to become BTMC.
Why do I not have xexxar installed yet? Holy moly. Is this show? Okay, I have no clue why this is erroring.
What's the error saying? So you've got... Okay,
it
go
wants
to
to
create...
performance error. Which is running...
Well, where is create performance calculator defined?
That's in, that's good. That's good. It's in... here, we'll open it up. Right, so that create performance calculator is probably somewhere in here.
I've never once looked at the code of OSU tools. If it doesn't work, I just complain in public.
I don't know why it's not working.
Can you go back to the terminal for a second? I'm not sure if the code is necessarily there. That's the issue. It's calling a function. Just control F create performance calculator probably.
Are you saying in here?
Yeah, in there. Okay, so it's defined at the rule set.
It's definitely with the simulate command. Difficulty attributes, new score info. So it's because my attributes are different, I'm betting. So change my attributes. Where does that get defined? Yeah, I bet this is why, because I removed flashlight. Well, we could just stop, guys, and just say we tried. We tried to solve PP. Unfortunately, it's all over now.
RIP. You could solve PP, but you couldn't solve OSU tools.
Okay.
You gotta rewrite it from scratch now.
Delete both repositories. Problem solved.
Yeah, guys, let's just code everything in Clojure now. It'd be so hype.
Okay, that'll be an objective improvement.
Okay, let's think about this. It's probably something to do with this. So what
We're
if...
OSU players. I don't think we can do that.
What if we just throw this stuff back in here? And then
Why did you even remove flashlight in the first place?
Because I don't want a flashlight PP. We don't need a flashlight PP.
I mean, can't you just set it to 0 and then delete it later?
Okay, and yes, that's what I'm gonna do. So now tap will be speed. What else do we need? Okay, flashlight. Yeah, that should be it.
That's not gonna work.
I'm gonna go to sleep. I need to wake up at 8 for the community meeting.
Okay, no, that's still airing. Bro, why does tools always break, dude? Every time. Every time. Every time I try to do this stuff. You can't make any big changes without running your head into a wall with a billion other problems. Ugh. Okay. I don't even understand how this could be caused by changes that I made in, like, here. What do these commands have to do with?
I would say
changing-
start by going to the lines and see what's going on there. So, for example, simulate command line 78, character 49.
Yay, yay. All right, let's see. Okay, simulate. This is way too much stuff that's open.
Simulate command.ts.
77 is this.
78 was the line.
Yeah, 78. Yeah, it's performance calculator. Ah, yes. Statistics.
Statistics in my PP?
Because I'm not setting accuracy? No, because accuracy comes from
Wha-
statistics.
Go back to the error for a second.
So the error is for that one.
Actually, just put it in chat.
Yeah, okay. No override method for calculate takes 0 arguments. Now, I don't really consider myself. I don't even think this is my fault because this code would error regardless. And I swear I'm on the latest version.
You check to make sure you're on the latest version of the tools.
I swear I'm on the latest version of tools.
Just skip pull.
Did I get fetch PPY? Did I not fetch it? No, I did. Remote. PPY, okay. Get diff. Master. Okay, maybe that's it.
Is the performance calculators is OSU tool set to use your local
Yeah,
Okay.
which is what's done here. But that's the only thing that's different between my branch and that's it. That's the only difference.
You got the newest OC tools, right? That's
Just
Miggy
checked.
too.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know why that would error. Because that.
Can you show me the definition for create performance calculator in the
Oh,
OSU in the not there, that's where you're calling it, that's not where it's defined.
Oh boy, maybe that is it.
Okay, so none of these accept any arguments. Are you sure you're on the latest version for the tools?
Well, yes. You should be. I mean,
Isn't this version of tools broken and we need a newer one? Yeah, this tool's broken. There's a pull request with a fixed one. See if that works.
dude, how does tools get broken all the time?
I know it's so fragile. Like you touch one thing in
Yeah,
PP,
yeah.
it's had 10 errors.
What branch do I need?
It's Smoogie Poo's this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just put it in chat. This one.
Cal already sent it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right there.
Technology. You can probably just add that fork to your remote and then just pull it. Pull the branch.
You know what you need to do?
Okay.
Not
hold on.
fix PP, you need to fix OSU tools. Make it not break every single time something in PP changes.
Well, OSU tools is fixed. The issue is the fix hasn't been implemented.
Yeah, well, if it breaks all the time, then that's not a proper fix, is it? You gotta recode it from the ground up, and closure.
Everything's gonna be in closure by the time I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to give you closure? I don't think it will.
Nothing will give me closure at this point.
Maybe rewriting in Haskell will.
Ooh.
I
Maybe.
need a meme language, but I don't know any.
Have you considered programming in Clojure?
I've
Okay, remote. Let's move to Git.
Nah, do you want a meme language? Look at
Emoji.
look at VLang.
Ooh,
Okay.
VLang. Oh yeah, emoji
So
lang. That's
that
true.
branch that he did was this one. Performance calculator cleanup. Okay. Okay. Hit the wrong keybind. Git checkout.
Additionally, StatR has his own fork.
Status epic. Okay. /use local os.
You don't need to fork the entire thing. You can just pull the changes from that.
No. It's too late. I already did it.
Oh my god.
There we go, boys. Okay. Let's try it again.
If it doesn't work, delete my hat. That's a promise. Haha, you've been
Well, that's
scammed. I
good.
don't have
No,
a hat.
that's good. That's good.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means that it's running, and it didn't like. Oh, ROG doesn't exist. Well, there you go. I thought I had it in there, but I guess I don't.
Well, didn't you just
Do I have an OS file in here? I thought I
Use
did.
the real ROG, Ben. Don't use an imposter.
Thought I had it in .os. od.os.
Didn't you just clone the Smoogie Poo's fork?
No, because it has them all. It still has my files in it. Oh, there we go. Did it? I got it. Epic. All right. Let's see. Okay. Errors. All right. Clock rate failed. Index out of bound on array. Why? Okay. So that's skills. Clock rate and performance cut simulator line 77. Wow, that's probably not actually caused by that, but I'll read that line. That is performance command. No, simulate. Okay, simulate. Is that OSU simulate? Okay, simulate command execute. Okay. 77. Which ironically, that's because that file is out of date. Never mind. Okay. 77 says mods.toArray. Okay, why with that error? Right. So the error I'm getting is a difficulty calculator. Calculate legacy helper trim non-difficulty adjustment mods rule set mods dot to array.
Yes, I memorized all of that. Thank you.
This line. No, sorry, this line. Right. So. OC difficulty calculator line 38. Well, let's go read that. Difficulty calculator line 38. Tap rating. Ah, that would be a problem. That is my code. Okay, cool. It's not. Oh, baby, there's 0 PP. Let's go. All right. It works.
PR that I'm sure. Sure.
Oh, dude, that would be great.
That you would love that. Honestly, considering how much he hates PP.
Just be like, I'll just say PP solved. It is 0 PP now. All right. Okay. Well, since that worked, that's pretty epic. So that's great. Now we can start writing skills, boys. All right. So how do we want to make aim?
Okay, so aim is just a length calculator. Distance over time, no strain, no nothing.
Well, we could start out that way, but we should probably get a little bit more logical about how we're going to actually calculate the difficulty value, which is where we'd want to use some sort of probabilistic approach. But for now,
What I was always thinking for aim is aim should have like some kind of memory, right? So what are the hardest patterns generally for people to hit?
Not here. Let me think.
well,
I think
Anything that
lost-
involves repeated geometry, I think.
Yeah. Stuff with like similar but not the same patterns, like Lost Dedicated. Weird. Well, closer to 90-degree angles at high BPM are hard because you know agility cap. I think programming in an agility cap instead of just multiplying the aim difficulty by the BPM would be useful. Because right now, like super high BPM, low star maps are super underweight because like you cap out your agility super fast, even if the jumps technically aren't that hard.
well, the idea is we're gonna just not even have strain anymore.
Yeah.
Strain gone. We don't do strain here. So I'm thinking I want to get rid of the slider radius stuff because I want to try to calculate sliders as a
You know, maybe
Subset
we're
of
approaching this
objects.
the wrong way. Can we really separate aim from speed on most maps?
Who wrote this? What is this? What is this
Yeah.
minimum jump distance? Who made this?
Okay, here. The thing is, what I'm getting from the the results of the statistical testing at the current moment is that aim difficulty is affected by tap difficulty. Like flow aim doesn't really exist. It's more like angle difficulty plus the tap difficulty increasing the aim difficulty of those angles.
So what
Also,
you're
on
saying?
second thought, I haven't had anything to eat today, so I'm gonna go do that.
All right, good luck. Keep going.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I will be right back.
Wow.
I'll give you guys some content to watch while I'm gone. Let's see. Let me find some quality content.
You should
Um,
you should watch a video on my channel.
nope.
My Union FL run's pretty good, but it's short.
Ah, here we go. Oh, captions are unavailable on this 11-hour video. Bummer. Maybe I'll just skip it and see if you guys can figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, it's a game. That's fine. what the dog's doing. Okay, this is boring. I'm gonna go grab something to eat real quick.
Right? You show them a video like this, and
I'm
I
back.
don't get it. I don't.
You know what I don't understand? That whole ordeal that I just had with like Smoothie's branch and whatnot. Why don't they just merge? Like when they fix something, why don't they just merge it? Like why why do they wait like 2 weeks or however long it takes? I don't understand. Everyone's gone. Bummer. I guess that means no one will hear me cracking a cold boy. Okay. Somebody let me know when Nate Little gets back. Okay, Nate, you back?
Yeah. I went and grabbed some baby bells because you know they're healthy for you. Only like 9% salt.
Oh, the cheat. Well, salt's not bad for you, so it doesn't really matter anyway.
I mean, it
Dude,
depends.
User entered your channel.
No. Don't get me started on salt,
Yo.
buddy. Don't get me started
Sanjay,
on salt.
what's up?
Hey, what's up, fourth grader?
I'm
You do not want to have
grinding me.
grinding
what?
you. That what?
Grinding 4 key.
Ah,
Very, very fun.
Did you
Okay,
see
so I was
that?
thinking about this, Nate, and this is the reason why I wanted to get your opinion on this. What if we just don't even have aim and tap, and we just have
dude,
O skill, right? And the difficulty value just returns. Basically, what I would do is I would just turn process and just start going functional programming from process. And then difficulty value just returns the final SR. But then there's going to be a bunch of other returns for like actual attributes that I need. So we don't even have skills anymore. We just have one skill, which is the OS game, skill,
The-
and then that will call off to like sub skills that are written functionally, so I don't have to use this garbage like inherited nonsense.
What?
That sounds. I don't know what to feel about that, honestly.
I mean, the big
do
difference
you-
would be basically instead of having separate tap aim skills and like all this separate stuff, I would have it when I return like the attributes. But for example, you mentioned how aim, like there are parts of aim where it matters how much strain there is on tap for
Yeah.
that aim pattern. So I could pass the like the vector values of tap or like the value of tap on that note to the tap or the aim skill. So I could code something like I don't know, like
If tap equal hard, aim equal harder. That's some quality programming.
What?
but then I could do aim difficulty equals calculate aim difficulty. But then pass the tap difficulty as well.
Ooh. Yeah, and tap isn't affected by aim, so that doesn't really matter. You don't have to cross them into each other, which is good.
Mm-hmm. Well, otherwise it'd be a nightmare. But
Yeah.
the point is, this is a functional. Now I could go out and write aim in a more functional way, because this is just an iterative function for process, and then basically what you do is you'd pseudocode. You would take. I don't know the conj command in C# for a list. Basically, is it just add? Wow. Okay, that's easy enough. Yeah, that's easy. Okay.
That actually stands for put an advertisement in the game.
Okay, yeah. I think I'm gonna do this. This sounds way more fun than having two separate skills, because I hate working with skills.
Yeah.
So we're gonna call this OS skill.
Ooh, there's only one
OS
skill.
The
The human
one
skill.
skill is the OS skill.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is gonna be real spicy. Whew.
Imagine
Goodness.
like, you know how Willie was going on a crusade to have different like PP measurements for each of the skills?
Well, the thing, I'm going to have those. I'm just not going to use separate skills to code them.
Yeah, that's
Because you
true.
don't need to do that. And this is never going to get merged anyway, most likely. So I don't really have to care about necessarily quote unquote best practices, because there are no best practices when it comes to PP, because it's all garbage.
Yeah, that's true. The best practice is to make
User
OD11
entered your
super
channel.
overweight so nobody plays through mine.
So now, all that work I did. Well, actually, no, because I still want to keep tap difficulty. I just don't want the skill. Do I want to do this?
Just commit to it. Just commit to it, and you can think about the consequences later.
Yeah, because then I'll add AR later, and that's not going to be aim anymore. It's just going to be the OS skill.
Do you really say OS? Did the Peppy virus get to you? Or is it the?
Believe it or not, my wife
Japanese
gets mad if I call it Osu.
Ah, well.
She thinks that sounds stupid.
No, OSU sounds base. OS sounds stupid.
Okay. So then this, here's how we're gonna do this. Double star rating equals difficulty value for skills 0 dot difficulty value. We don't need no difficulty
User
multiplier,
entered your
'cause this is
channel.
arbitrary. We can just do that inside the skill. Very spicy. Actually, I will leave that. And then it's gonna be. I'm gonna need to cast that. Hold on. var. I'll just use var.
What's a var? Like, a sensor variable, but like,
It
Does it
means I
sound-
don't know what it is, and so
Okay.
I just don't care what it is. Just it's an object. It's a memory address.
hmm.
Okay. The reason why I need to do that is because I need to be able to take out and do aim
Sosu skill.
value.
You just wrote Sosu skill.
And then difficulty, no, tap value. And that way, I have now bypassed the need for multiple skills. And so I can just code everything in one pipeline because it's one calculation at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I like it. I'm gonna like it. I think because then I can just code sub skills.
Ooh. Pseudo
Which
skill.
they're gonna like blow their brains out when they see this code. If I ever decided I want to make a PR, but that's okay.
Please make
least-
a PR. It'll be funny.
At least it will make more sense than Delta, in my humble opinion.
Watch as you start scaling length bonus by combo, and then like using your doubling. I'm gonna stop making fun of you because I know you're smarter than me, but yeah.
Right. Do I need to do anything else with that? Well, I guess I could compile it to see if it runs. I'm sure it won't. Yeah, it won't run because I don't have this defined. Also, I'm missing a parenthesis somewhere. Oh, here it is. Okay, these guys, I have to go code that if I'm going to have that, and I also got to rename this file. Right, tap isn't needed anymore yet. Okay,
Best part about this is we can finally, we can finally delete the notion that flowing is a thing.
well, you can code it. I don't know exactly what I want to do with aim yet, so I'm not really even thinking about it. I'm just kind of thinking about like what I would like in an ideal system to fix the problems that exist. And having one skill is a good way to do that because by having one skill, you can just pull things out after you calculate once. So, for example, I can just pull out the aim value from here. I can just pull out the tap value, and I'll define those and build those off of probably something like private double aim value equals. You don't need to do that. And then this will just return value, tap value. And then in process, you can process it. And in difficulty value, you can actually derive this. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to have a list of strings for tap and aim that are going to get populated in process, which will build probably more than just these. I will probably also have like a length maybe or something. I don't know. Or like an accuracy rating. Nice. Okay. So So let's add. I need to override that. Probably a couple, and then. That's what I was looking for. Okay, cool. All right. I'm getting some exciting stories from my wife on the sec board right now.
Well,
On the
I-
what?
My wife works in a psych ward.
ooh. So she
That's
works from home?
crazy, not gonna lie.
It's quite an exciting journey that she has there.
Yeah.
All right. I love it when you have words that are the same length. It just looks so pretty. When
I
you have
feel
tap
like,
and aim. See what I'm saying? Like, ooh,
yeah. I
Makes you
feel
wanna
like
tap
you'd
dance
really
to it.
like fonts where all the characters are the same width.
that's. I mean, yeah. That's.
I mean, most fonts,
monospaced
most coded fonts are mono. Yeah. Also, it's gonna be controversial, but I hate ligateers.
What'd you
You
say?
hate
I hate ligateers.
I don't even know what that is.
Basically, you know
neither.
how you some fonts will like take like not equals and convert it to like the equals with the slash through it, or you put the double equals and they'll convert it to something else, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate those fonts.
Wow, that's kind of a skill issue, honestly. I like those. My not equals look so nice when I change it for me.
Unrelated, but the other day I was doing some like thing for my real job, and I there was like this index that was being used to split the CSV with like a weird index, and I don't even know how it was possible, but that index was like a half spaced space on a monospaced font, which I had never seen before. I didn't even know there was a thing.
Wow.
It was a super skinny space that would like throw off your code.
What is your real
Oh.
job?
Software engineer?
I just had an awful idea. Copy the zero width space character, paste it into random lines in someone's code.
Honestly, you're Satan spawn.
Yeah, it's like the Greek comma semicolon. Have you heard of that? The Greek comma is the same thing as the semicolon, but they don't work the same.
Of course they don't. Why would
Come
they?
on, man.
It's evil.
Okay. See, now this is the tough part. Now I actually have to start like thinking about what I want to do to like make PP better.
I would say the one system I want to toy around with if I have more time is in some way of like I don't think having like separate aim or tap values is like the way to go. I feel like there should be some way you can express difficulty as a function of both of them rather than trying to discretize and then combine them later. Because I just don't think the one issue with trying to like separate them is like, for example, aim is dependent on tap and vice versa. So you end up having that cross correlation factor.
Hold on. I cannot like process words while I'm debugging. So I just have to. Okay, this is what I needed. already contains a definition for aim value. Am I retarded? Excuse me? Oh. Okay, that's a lot of errors. All right, what were you saying?
I don't
Wait.
think that having separate aim or tap values is really the way for a PP for like a future PP system, so to speak. Problem is aim is inherently dependent on tap and vice versa. You can't just separate the two, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
I'm pretty sure I brought that up already.
huh?
I brought that up already. I said game difficulty is affected by tap difficulty. That's why xexxar is making just the OC skill.
Well, I agree, but the thing I think he's saying is that
I
they
don't
should
think
really be.
I don't think you can even evaluate them separately. Maybe like some kind of action density is something like, because movement is an action, tapping is an action, right?
Reading
You know, I mean,
smack.
I would say that I do agree to an extent. I mean, we can just try it. I mean, that sounds fun. The thing is, like, you have to track like some semblance of the difference, though, like, because there is a difference, and when you go to score it, you have to track that difference. Like,
What do you
tap
mean there is a
rating,
difference, right? There's only
like,
one value that people
no,
see
no,
at the end of the
but
day.
there is only one value in sense that of like a PP rating on a score, but that score, when you're calculating a difficulty, you have to break that difficulty up into terms that get affected by the score itself. Like you have to you have to be able to use accuracy in the best way to assess that play.
Probably at like
So
each individual step, so to speak, right? But generally, what I would say is that calculation should be left at the. What I'm trying to say is there should be some more analytical way of describing exactly what's happening.
well, the argument that I'm stating with you is that the best way for us to do this is to have tap calculate in isolation and aim be dependent on tap rather than trying to code them at the same time, because you have to have them separate enough to be able to scale tap PP by accuracy and aim PP basically by misses.
Well, tap is the one thing that's probably like, don't quote me, but I think it's probably the easiest one to calculate in isolation, right?
It's probably the only one that makes sense to calculate in isolation, honestly. Because if I was gonna look at the game of OS, like you tap, but then the secondary aspect is the aiming. Like the first thing is you're playing a rhythm game, and the second thing is you're adding.
Well, your
an
tapping
aiming
is
component on top.
well, your tapping is indicated by also your reading skill, right? So in fact, I would say both tap and aim are
I guess that's
are
somewhat true.
products of reading, right? So I think the reading skill is what really matters. Then the tap and the aim are basically the your skill actually taking that reading skill and applying it to the game.
All right, hold on, I got it. Hold on. All right.
User entered your
What did I just
channel.
do? Did I close that window? Ah. Chotto matte ne.
Weeb.
What a weeb, am I right?
Alright, boys.
Like, how good is your Japanese actually? Like,
I mean, it was a lot better when I was in school for it, but
can you say this is a pen?
kore wa pen.
Wow, that's cool. No, can you say no, here, I'm trying to think of something complex.
Probably not, but I can try.
Metabiological conditions or whatever,
No,
you know? Yeah, just
I cannot say anything to do with biology or meta.
And also,
I
at
think
least
the only school subject I remember is rekishi, which is history. I don't. Sugaku is math.
Sudoku. I love Sudoku.
Sugaku.
Close enough. How do you hear the difference between they and like day? You know, like the
Day?
Japanese R is stupid. I hate it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's that hard. You just gotta
probably-
like adopt your inner Asian and change how you position your mouth.
Yeah, I can pronounce it decently. Probably not to like a native, but I sound decent compared to some people. But like the thing is,
everybody knows that modules is the best Japanese pronunciation.
isn't
or maybe not
modules
but-
like? Doesn't he live in some tropical country?
He lives in Malta, dude.
Yeah, Malta.
Malta's
I've never even seen
based.
Malta on a map.
Who the heck? Who lives in Malta, dude?
Why are there so many
People
people in
in
Malta,
Luxembourg.
and yet I've never heard of it? There's like more people in Malta than Canada.
Okay, no, it's not even close, dude. What are you talking about? Canada's got like 30 million people. This is 500,000.
No, that's 516 million.
Right, okay. Yeah, I can see what you mean when you said that. I'm a lot smarter than you. Dude, Malta is based.
I wouldn't say.
This Malta is where Paul in the Book of Acts crash landed on one of his ships, and during when he was in prison, they took off in October, and he's like, "Guys, I've been in multiple shipwrecks. We should not go out." And then they're like, "Oh yeah, well you're a prisoner. We're going out." And then they crash.
So they shipped him.
Huh.
He
So
was
who they shipped
on
him
his way to
with?
Rome.
Where is it
What?
on the globe? Oh, it's below Italy.
Yeah, it's in the Mediterranean. Like literally, it is the tiniest little island in the middle of.
Guam
Nowhere.
exists.
Hey, do you know that Italy looks like a boot?
Right.
That's like the only thing I know about Italy other than like meatballs is the fact that it looks like a boot. I do not study my geography. Oh yeah, Rome's in there.
Hey, do you guys want to see something cool?
Yeah.
Did you guys know that the Washington D.C. has a pentagram in it?
Isn't that the Pentagon?
Oh no, not. Where the heck is Washington D.C.? I'm like blind.
Well,
Bruh.
you gotta study your geography, kid.
Bro, what the? I swear, isn't it like right here?
No, it's below Baltimore.
Holy
It's
crap.
Baltimore.
Oh, there it is. All right.
You live in the U.S.?
Apparently not. Holy moly.
Oh yeah, no.
There it is, boys. The
Yay!
pentagram.
Wait, like one
Oh,
of
so
the
So that's why all our politicians are straight from hell.
yeah. Canada's better though.
I like going outside in like, above freezing weather, so no.
Yeah, that's why you moved to Alaska.
And of course, the inverted pentagram is centered on the White House.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, why is it not the Black House? Where's the racial inclusivity?
Dude, honestly, at some point in the future, I would not be surprised if they call it the Rainbow House.
They should actually. That would be
Holy
the
moly.
greatest PR stunt. Wait, the United States Capitol's right there?
Yeah.
I thought that was Toronto.
There you go. It's the Rainbow House, boys.
Wow. Oh, so
Thanks,
they already did?
Obama. Anyway, that's enough conspiracies. We're not here for that. This is the wrong server for that.
Yeah. If it were the other server, you'd be like knees deep in it already.
I'd be like, all right, let's get the BitChute videos open, boys. Popcorn around.
I don't know why you're so
I already
obsessed
got my
with
popcorn
BitChute,
ready, boys.
but
The reason why. Have you ever like tried to search on YouTube? It is
Yeah.
impossible. You cannot find anything anymore.
here, look up epic ways to divorce your wife.
No, I'm not looking that up. But very fun. All right.
It would be funny if your wife looked at your history and saw that.
Honestly, she probably couldn't figure out how to do it anyway because I run an Arch, and you have to like know the key bindings to do anything in this.
Oh wow.
Like,
Yeah, I did something. Which is this DWM or i3 or
i3.
Yeah, I had an i3 setup too. I think in like high school. It was my sophomore year. One of my friends was like one of those script kiddies. So what I did is I had my Arch laptop with i3. I pulled it out, unlocked it, put it in front of him, and I said, "Go ahead, try and delete my files."
And then he flawlessly deleted them all with sudo rm
All right,
rf.
guys.
and
Let's
then
come
your
up with a
data-
pipeline for how we're gonna define difficulty. Like, let's go to like.
I
don't
would
know.
say try and instead of finding overall difficulty, try and find an expression for the for the derivative of difficulty as a function of time. So basically, how do you quantize your individual units of difficulty that contribute to the overall map? That's usually where I start with this.
Okay, so
basically, what I'm saying is, I don't have my iPad, but
I mean, I
let's.
get what you're saying but that's very similar to what we're already doing, which I don't want to like replicate that system.
Well, how else do you want to
because
do it?
well, to me, I want to. I guess I see what you're saying. You're saying that the difference is. What if we calculated tap individually, we calculated aim individually, and then when we go to actually produce our difficulty values, we look at the current total strain of both while we're doing tap. So for example, if you have a spike tap section on a spike aim section, you would rate that individual section's difficulty as harder. So like if I have a vector of like let's say calculate aim difficulty, and to do that we take like current aim rating plus or multiplied by some factor of tap rating. So in other words, if that note has tap rating on it, then we consider it a section that's more difficult because it's combining both skills at the same time.
The problem is, I think tap rating is also dependent on aim rating. I'm starting to think more and more. Consider
no,
like
no.
say consider.
I'm not done.
Consider
Hold on.
tech maps.
Hold
Okay.
Hold on. Then you do tap rating, and then you do current tap rating, some factor of aim rating.
Except that factor is going to be dependent on time, right? And there's not. It's not just going to be some constant factor because
It is dependent on time though, because this.
No. I said it is dependent on time.
I know, but this code would be dependent on time. I'm kind of coding it in a really garbage way because we'd be taking, it'd be like, for I don't know, less than tap rating set length, plus plus. We would go and iterate through each object in the map one by one, look at both the aim rating for that note and the tap rating, come up with a tap difficulty on that note, and then get our final tap rating and send that back.
Yeah, but how are you going to find that sum factor? It's because of that sum factor. I don't think you can just calculate based off the current values.
It would be from that current object's aim rating. So if let's say you have like, all right,
I think it should actually be dependent on removing, or you should be dependent on information of the n minus k objects to the n plus or minus k objects. So for example, I think current aim rating and current tap rating should be dependent on just not just the object that you're evaluating, but the surrounding objects. That's how you'd be able to really.
It would be definitely based off of that. It would be the current. It would be not the strain rating necessarily, but it would be like the current. It would be basically in isolation. How difficult is it to tap this nth note in the map? Okay, how difficult is it to aim this nth note in the map? All right, now that we have both of those difficulties,
you can't just in isolation identify this one specific nth note, right?
No, you can't. You would have the exact specific individual note.
Yeah, sure, you would, but if you want to calculate in isolation, it would be the same thing as calculating difficulty for a map that only has that single note, right?
It would be that one note associated with the context of notes around it. So in other words, the aim difficulty and the tap difficulty, it would be the rating on a note in context to what occurred before it.
It will be a differential equation at the end of the day, right? So in
Well,
fact,
I mean, it's just a factor of. So
hold on, let me get my.
So what I'm advocating for is, I'll just start coding and then I'll explain it afterwards.
I would say generally before you start coding, try and express the math behind your ideas if you can.
Okay, so the map is this map underweight. So we're gonna buff all maps with the name of this map.
Right, I was talking to xexxar, not you.
Yeah, but I'm explaining it for him. Okay, sorry, I think I made you get down the wall.
Oh yeah, also xexxar, you're on Linux, right?
Yep, that would be why I have i3.
Yeah.
No,
Just
no, I'm
question,
on
but-
Mac.
Well, there are some tiling window managers, but anyway, look in voice chat or in the PP stream. It's a utility I use to shut up my keyboard. I figure you might like it too.
To shut off my keyboard.
Basically, what it does is it?
Oh, I see. So wait, you're telling me you don't want to hear me demolish my keyboard?
Why don't you just use noise torch, man? That's what I use. It works fine.
I've tried both. I just noise torch seems fine. I just generally use cabinets because that's the thing I've been using, and also because I don't like Go.
I'm glad to know there's alternatives, I guess. I like his keyboard though, it's nice.
And the problem is I'm trying to code too.
Yeah, well then what you do is you set it up so that it filters out your speakers. RTX voice can do
I've
that,
been
right?
working on the utility for that. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Feed your
Wait.
speakers into a pseudo mic, feed that through the mic suppression program, feed it back to your speakers. So free.
So, all right. So this is sort of the idea that I had in mind. I don't know if it makes any sense, but it's kind of the idea what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I suppose what I'm saying is I don't think you can have aim influence be dependent on just the ith terms. So, for example, you like for example on tap rating I will be dependent.
I term is based on how you calculate the difficulty. So if I calculate tap difficulty for this current note, it's going to be based off of the previous notes in context. It's not just going to be I'm looking at this one note's specific, velocity or something. It's going to be what's this note's velocity in context to the previous notes? What are their velocities? And how difficult do I think that this pattern in context of 8 notes or whatever is? It would be however you define this function is how that difficulty comes in. So the ith rating just means that you're storing the calculated difficulty for that note in context to the other notes, not just its personal difficulty. It's like, what is the aggregated difficulty of this one note in context to everything else that's in the map? Which typically is just going to be some sort of grouping, which would be, I would assume, probably like 8 objects or something, or 4 objects, depending on how large you want it to be. I would think you'd probably want to go not too large because you want to avoid the problems that Strain had.
Well, instead
Although
of
you
having it
also
like just
don't
a
wanna
fixed
go into
window,
the
you can
problems
have
with
it so
Delta
that
T.
as you go further away from the current point, you weigh it down by the distance. So, for example, like the time distance. So things very far away from the current moment of time don't matter as much as nearby
Yeah.
events, so to speak.
Yeah, similar to how Strain works. You would want to do that. You would want the influence to be based off of either purely time or something else. But I don't know. I played with both. I feel like time isn't the best system because when you, well, I mean, maybe it would be fine here because we're not using Strain. We're just
Yeah.
using time. Yeah,
Just
it,
try
it
and
would it wouldn't
avoid.
be time squared like it is with Strain right now. It would
Yeah,
be
that's
just
what I
one
was
over
gonna
time.
say. 1/time is the goal. So
Yeah.
don't screw it up, please, because I want Grand Senpai maps to be worth something.
Yeah, so I think I think this is the way to fix this problem. Instead of even passing in the tap rating, just use the tap rating when you calculate the effective aim rating of that note. Now, the only other thing that's probably important would be to I know that the system, I would think, would probably still have problems with assessing flow and snap aim. But maybe because it's not a length-based system, or like, you get rid of... It would depend on what your calculate function does. Because you would want... How you assess difficulty in aggregate is going to influence... I don't have a good way to verbalize what I'm trying to say. One of the problems that I always ran into was whenever you try to do something like, for example, take movement out of tap, you run into this problem where maps that have both flow aim and snap aim become underweighted because there's not a fair assessment of both types of aiming. Or at least...
Well, can't you just treat
underweighted
them
historically.
as the same thing?
You could, but the point I'm making is if you do that, you will typically run into the problem of those notes being underweighted. But maybe that's because I've never tried to do it with this type of setup where tap would influence the aim difficulty of a note. And I guess Delta got somewhere with it, so maybe it's worth trying again.
Yeah, what you do is just take Delta, you remove all the fluff, and you just paste it right in, and boom, there's your aim system.
I mean, honestly, even just this is just like a way to just make this less dumb,
Yeah.
Like, there's so much unnecessary stuff in Delta and in regular PP that you can just clean it up by just removing all this just junk that's accumulated over time. That's my fault, basically. I gotta atone for my sins.
Yeah. I think it was Apollo who said that most of the stuff in AIM is just a band-aid fix for your distance over time squared.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it isn't. There's obviously using angles is not a band-aid fix.
Yeah, it is.
But
I'd actually think that might be. I think there is some cleaner way you can represent that instead of just looking purely at the angles. I would say something like a geometric memory that you can. I wonder if there's some way you can like embed geometric memory, so to speak.
You mean like
Basically, if you were
storing,
to
like,
represent each point as a transformation, maybe actually okay. Maybe if I'm gonna just spitball here. Maybe instead of just looking strictly at position, maybe explore the idea of looking at positions of nodes relative to prior positions, right? That way,
mean-
repeated geometry you could find in that structure instead of having to store the specific angles, right?
I don't even want to mess with angles anymore. I'm done with angles. I just
Yeah, I'm
want to
saying
use
instead of looking
vectors.
at the angles, look at the change in position in the context of a prior.
I mean, my
I
ideal
guess you
system...
still need that angle data, but there's probably a way you can encode it, so to speak.
Where's my pen? Oh yeah, that's perfect. My ideal system is something where like you take the current note and you normalize it Well, hold on. You take the current node and you like normalize it into some like position like this, where it's a vector that's been rotated and whatever. But then you keep data for the other nodes that are in context to it, so like the previous vectors.
Yeah, that's what I was
And-
saying. That's literally what I was just saying.
Okay, cool. Glad we're on the
And-
same page.
But in this case, I think you will still need some kind of angle information, because what you'd say, you would store essentially how the vector transforms from one point to the other.
But you don't need to store that. You just need to have the vector, and then you can calculate whatever you need
yeah,
for
fair.
the purpose of the skill. So like if this is, I
You
don't
wouldn't
know,
need to store it, but you need to work
one,
with it.
that's
regardless.
minus. Well, I guess that's 0. 0. And then there's previous. Well, here, let's go back. This will be 0. That's -1. That's in the future. This guy's 1. 2, 3. And it really just depends how far in the past you want to go. But then you could assess. See, this is where Delta used his matrix magic to solve, the aim to his ability, I guess.
What happened to
But I
Delta?
feel like, well, he's still around. He just works software dev and has no free time. I think the problem is, if you do something like this, what I would think would be the best thing to do would be to write a GLM and try to like back into it using some sort of data analytics.
GLM?
A GLM is a generalized linear model, and basically what I mean by that is you would have factors. So like V0 would be a
Sure.
factor.
Well, you want to just set this up as a linear regression model?
V-1, V1. Okay, hold on. V-1, V0, V1, V2, V3. I could do this in LaTeX, I guess, but that's gonna. No, I'm not doing that. Okay, so like, you would have some sort of matrix multipliers that has factors that multiply with these two.
So you're saying linear regression?
It's not just linear regressions. It is a linear regression, but it's a generalized linear model is typically a structure that uses nodes as a influence. I can't verbalize what I'm trying to say. You basically have a multiplication. I wish I could just show an example of one. That would be much easier. It's basically trying to fit a piece of data with a line, and generally anyway. You can do more than a line, but the general idea is to use a line. Hence why they call it a linear model. But the point that I'm getting at with this when it comes to OS is you have a bunch of factors that you can assign weights of importance to that aim difficulty assessment. You have how much should the next node's velocity influence the difficulty of the current node? How much should the previous node's velocity influence the current node? What about the previous or the prior?
How does this not just linear regression? Because
I guess-
in either
I guess
case,
it is. I'm just being fancy with my terms.
like in either case, the one thing about this, and really, because this is basically the common solution you'll see all over the internet of make a machine learning model for this, right? Or this is where you start getting these kinds of suggestions. And the real question is, do you want to have specific? Because the way you build this model then is by asserting that certain maps are going to have certain PP values, right?
Well, the way that I would build it is you would take existing score data and try to regress on these objects. Like you could break a map. If I was gonna, if I could have my dream system, it would be break a map up into these formats of this like object type, and then try to regress on a list of variables like the velocity or the difference in velocity between
Well, there are
like,
temporal linear, temporal linear models that you can do. So, for example, there are some like, I haven't done machine learning in a while, but there are ways you can like work on noise data, so to speak, or things where it's like you don't know how big the data is. So what you do is you evaluate on windows of it, right? You essentially create small windows, you apply the model there, and then yada yada. But what I'm saying
yeah.
is, regardless, I thought the point you can't just fit it based off the values that are currently in the PP system because, or I mean, I guess you could, but then what are you really changing?
Well, the idea is
If you're
you
fitting
have a
it based off what's currently there, you don't get anything new. What I figured then is you'd have like, you try, in order to do anything like this, is you'd have to know what PP values you want for certain maps. So for underweighted maps, you'd correct them. So essentially,
Well,
like, you're probably gonna need.
the idea isn't that you want to set PP values for certain maps. The idea is, can we leverage existing score data on any given map? So if I go and look at, I don't know, let me just grab something. If I grab, you know, a map like this, and I see all the scores on it, can I take the scores, break the map up into its components, along with a bunch of other maps, and regress to find what the most quote-unquote difficult patterns are based off of the scores that have been done?
Oh, so you're not talking about actually identifying the you're just trying to find our teacher system how to identify difficulty by using previous plays and basically said
The ideal system uses score data to define the parameters that go into a generalized aim model, which would be a generalized linear model. Because you can calculate, I mean, it would be a ton of data, but if you could actually run that much data, the ideal system would take every single map that's ranked, break those maps up into these patterns, then it would regress a
I
model
don't
that
see why
tries
you need
to.
to break the map up.
Well, because your goal is to not, you're not trying to define the difficulty of a map. You're trying to define the
Yes,
difficulty of patterns
yes,
within those
but
maps.
regardless, you don't need to do that necessarily for the map. What you're trying to do here is you're trying to evaluate how all that this isn't this linear regression isn't just necessarily for these patterns. This is how you can't like. Are you going to try and teach your PP model the concept of patterns? Because I feel like that's not necessarily the approach to go here.
The goal of the PP model is to be able to return a value for the aim difficulty of this current shape.
Yes, but
this vector
what
shape.
I'm trying to say is, does it have to understand the concept of like? Does it have? I understand how. Okay, let me phrase this correctly. Oh God, why I suck at this. I understand that patterns play a huge part um in the difficulty of the map, but should the model be able to recognize and define patterns, so to speak, or should it just be able, or are these weights generalized? I cannot phrase this for the life of me.
The point that I think we're missing is that if I take a new map that has no scores on it, I have to be able to predict how difficult that is in context to the other maps that are ranked and what has been done by players. The only way for me to do that is to be able to compare maps between other maps. So if I'm going to compare map A with map B, I have to have a way that I can relate them in some sort of metric. And the only way I can think of doing that is creating a vector of normalized patterns that are something of this type.
Because what I would say is, yes, you can look at just like windows of 5 nodes, but you're going to look at all the windows of 5 nodes, right?
It would
Or
be
how are you going
in
to
a map,
choose which? Yeah,
in a map, you would break up the map into every single 5-note subsection.
Okay, that I can understand. I thought that you were saying like you're going to try and identify like
No,
complex pattern. Okay,
No, I
okay,
just
yeah,
mean that we would look at every single 5-vector map, or I guess not map, 5
I think 5 nodes is too small
vector
for a
vector.
window. I would have a rolling window of say 15 nodes probably at the least.
That would be, ideal, but the amount of computational complexity that you're getting to at that point would probably be.
Well, you don't have to do every single map. You just have to do a large enough representative sampling, which I think you can accomplish with like I don't know, like 100,000 total evaluations. Just pick like a
Right,
1,000
yeah,
random songs, 100 random plays on each one, and you're done.
And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying, like, yeah, you could do that. I mean, this is just the ideal system. The ideal system is you have factors, and you'd have to figure out what those factors are, and then you'd have to regress on them with this kind of breakup where you find some way to compare scores. The problem is it gets really, really muddy when you try to use score data. Because when you use score data, you have to have a way to relate players as well to define how difficult something is. Because Emmerich here has FC'd this, but he's the only one who's FC'd it. Okay, well, how do I know if somebody else could have FC'd this but just hasn't played this map?
I would say that's not necessarily. Maybe you don't look at the extremes, right?
I guess. I mean, maybe if you just assume that every map has, everyone who can FC something has already played it. But that's the thing; you can't do that.
No, beyond that, just find maps where you can make that reasonable assumption that enough people represent your player base has played a certain map. So, for example, like with that map that you picked, if there's only one DTFC on it or something like that, don't consider it.
So I'd only take samples of maps that or like plays that have more than a certain number. But the thing is, still though, like, how do you know how hard a map is unless you have a way to estimate if we're using score data, you would have to have a way to take some random player, and be able to get an estimate on whether or not what kind of score they would be able to produce on any given map.
I would say keep in mind you can repeat this several times. If you're going to use player data, you change the PP system, right? So what you could probably do is you could probably use ranking, I guess, to figure out the probability or something like that. And what you do is you do it multiple times until your solution converges. Now this is idealized again, but what you could do is like and take what's currently available. You calculate your regressions based off of that. You re-rank the players, and then use that new ranking. Repeat the process over. You get the different ranking, and so on and so forth. And eventually, it'll probably converge.
That is a pretty good idea. I'm not gonna code it, but that's a great idea.
Like talking about machine learning or something. I kind of spaced that.
Sounds great, but never gonna happen. All right, lovely. So bottom line though, we can still come up with the GLM. We can just define the pattern, or like we could define the factors manually just to start. Like eventually you would be able to maybe someday leverage score data, but the ideal system still, whether the factors are machine learning derived or not, like you can code something that uses those factors that's still pretty good.
Yeah, I wanted to try and do something like this, but the rate limits on how many maps you can download it's too slow. So I tried emailing Peppy and asked if I could like get a bigger rate limit, or just never replied.
For just maps? Isn't there like
for replays. I need like
replays.
Because yeah.
Well, you don't need replays. I mean, to me, you don't really need a replay to necessarily like break that data down. You should just be able to.
I think replays are going to be the only. Yeah, that number tells you like a total amount of misses in aggregate, but you have no data on where those misses happen. You'd need the replay data.
Well, could you use? Do you need? Okay, could you use though rather than the misses and the hundreds and whatnot where they are? Could you just use the number at the end and regress on the patterns? Because you would have a lot of scores.
I honestly don't think so. Not necessarily, simply because you don't know how do you differentiate between the patterns. You know that. I guess maybe what you could do is in aggregate you look at certain kind. You look at how You can, I guess you could do it by simply just noting that maps with these kinds of patterns have these scores, and then maps with these kind of patterns have these kind of score difficulties. But I think it would be just way simpler to just regress over the replay data off it.
I don't know. It's just a thought. I mean, again, this is kind of like
I'm not
super
doing this.
hypothetical anyway because we're not doing this. We're just not doing this. So the best I can think of at this point would be to still write some sort of GLM, but just define the factors manually.
Yeah, how's Zyfe doing it? Isn't Zyfe doing a machine learning model?
Yeah, but like I'm not expecting that to ever actually get completed.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, that sounds fun. Have fun with that.
It's gonna be completed
You
in
know what? Maybe
2050.
I
and
will write this when I decide that I'm tired of my job and I want to build some sort of project that I can use for my interview.
Yeah, your
When I
midlife
decide to apply as
crisis.
a machine learning engineer, and I have no experience. Oh man.
Midlife crisis. Put your job right in an LPP thing. Get a new
Just
job as a machine
fast for
learning
like
engineer.
2 months straight and just work on PP. My
How
wife's
do you?
like, "Where are you? Come back to me."
I feel like fasting for 2 months straight is just suicide.
I probably could not do 2 months straight. Maybe a month. That would be a real stressful month, though.
And also, I don't think I would be willing to deal with the OSU community to do something like that.
What do you mean?
Oh.
They're really loving and respectful of the time spent, and they really care about our feelings as PP devs.
How dare you wonder what it can do? It should be 12,500 pp. Yeah, that one. Monster Island. Yeah. That MX score on it.
What? He DT'd this? No way.
Literally, like, watch the replay. It's insane.
What map is this?
What?
Can do by Monstrata.
When did this happen?
Wait, you didn't know about it?
No.
It was like everywhere for a bit. Everyone was screaming about you making it underweight, even though it was already underweight. I think it has to do with the fact that you're I don't think it was you who added it, but the top strains are getting dampened by like 75%. And it's like a super big diff spike.
And
That's actually gonna
MREC.
Yeah, candle. Look up can do Sakamoto one. No, yeah,
Bro.
Sakamoto one, bro.
You probably have to look up.
No, get rid of the MREC. Okay, there. No, never mind. Replace the MREC.
Did you just not upload this?
It's uploaded. It's on Seapool.
Is
Oh,
it?
right there. Yeah, see, right there. Your YouTube recommendeds are weird, bro.
I didn't even
It's
see what it
curses
was.
on you. Yeah, there's no audio until it starts. Kind of wacky.
This kid is such a zoomer. It's ridiculous.
Literally a perma-zoomer.
That meme is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen come out of the OSU community.
I love it so much. I can hear the song in my head just from the patterns. Like this part right here is dumb. And then that's the map. And he
Yeah,
gets
this
like
is, I
zero
don't really
luck.
think this is like. Alright, I know this is like a ridiculous play, but like, there's way more impressive plays that he's done.
Yeah, but this plays like a bang. This is more than 970. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean,
Honestly, I'm not sure if I've said this here, but my ideal PP system would not be having a single performance
yeah.
evaluation system. But
My ideal
Nice to hear
PP
from you,
system
Willie.
would be nothing but ACK.
I don't know.
It
Like,
would-
yeah, that was a cool score and all, but like,
You only got
there's a lot of scores that I feel like are way more interesting than that. even this one I think is more impressive.
This map is a result of you just arbitrarily buffing every like map above 300 BPM instead of adding an agility skill.
Okay, listen, buddy. You don't know what you're talking about, so
Yeah, I do.
Rebuked.
L plus ratio.
All right, I'm done. I don't want to code PP anymore. PP sucks.
Wow. Yeah, I agree. You
I'm
know
gonna
what we
go
should
make
do?
a frozen pizza.
Go back to PPV1, recreate it, and make it actually good. Roll that out.
The thing is, Pepe will never do PPP1 because it's too much computational power.
Yeah, well, too much computational
PPV
D's nuts.
Wow, that was a hilarious joke.
Thank you. I put a lot of effort into that.
APV1 was too much computational power?
Yeah. Because you
Really?
have to wait every single play against every other single play against the time it was set.
Well, I think the big mistake is what I would have loved to see is like, especially with PPV1, what I feel like you could do, and this is a really dumb idea, but I really want to try, is why not just like, have these PP computations be done on player computers?
That's such a bad idea. You do not know.
Well, what it doesn't have
Hold
to
on,
be
dude.
the
My
same
scores
thing.
were 10 million PP.
No, not on your computer, on someone else's computer.
Oh, so we're just gonna let the
I'm
other
just gonna
person.
rate other people's scores. Dude, I'm a troll and I've just decided to rate everyone else's score at 10 million PP. Wow, dude, my Haramachi Clover C rank is 1000 PP.
I guess instead of just having it be one other computer, it could be like on like 5 other random
We're gonna
computers.
make a bot.
Just create an OSU
it's gonna,
bot and
dude,
start
it's the Osu blockchain, dude. The score blockchain.
Yo, that's so true. You know
Fuck,
what?
you're right. That's exactly what I'm describing. Okay, never
You are
mind.
literally
Abandoned ship.
describing the Osu score blockchain.
I have a good idea.
Hey,
A
what are you talking
self-balance-
about? Web3 Osu. Like, think about how much money you
That's
can
totally,
make
dude.
out of innocent.
PP will be solved
I have a
with the
good system. idea.
botnet or blocknet.
Decentralized PP.
Decentralized PP. Amazing.
Okay.
Holy
Yeah.
Seize the means of P production. I can't believe I just said that.
Okay, now I can say what I was trying to say. I have an idea for a self-balancing PP system. Every time you log into OSU, it gives you 5 plays from other people, and you have to rate them after watching the replay. And if you don't rate them, you get permabanned.
So isn't that basically
system.
the CS:GO Overwatch system?
Does my rating have to be within the is there an algorithm that like decides what it thinks the map's worth? And if you rate within a certain threshold of that, you get to keep playing the game. But if you don't rate within that threshold, you get booted.
No, it compares your ratings to other ratings from different people, and if it's too far off, you get permabanned. So it forces you to really think about it, or else you get permabanned.
Yes, that would be a very fun system. I'm sure the game would really thrive from that.
Yeah.
Just
Especially
permaban.
because you have to do that. What, 5? You said 5 plays.
Yeah, every single time you boot up the game. If you
Okay,
close the game, reopen
what
it,
if
5
people
more.
play more than 5 times on average?
If people played more than 5 times on average, then okay. What you do is you weight other scores with the already
You need
rated
to
scores.
weight a score every time you want to play a map, huh?
Additionally, you could delete System 32.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's what I'm gonna do. All right, it's fun hanging out.
You don't even have System 32. You're a Linux user, kid. All right, see ya.
Yeah, take care. Bye.